international students, where we share real stories, real struggles, and real wins of students navigating life in the United States. Most students go through college without getting to know the people that make the decision that shape the student's experience. Today, we change that. Joining me on here is the president of Huntington University, Dr. Robert Pepe. We are going to dive into his college experience. We're actually taking him back today. Then we are going to link that to a current student experience at Huntington University. Then we talk more about international students. Sir, thank you for joining me on here today.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing today, though?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's almost the end of the semester. So a lot of meetings, but also lots of celebrations and getting excited for commencement. Yeah, it's going to be a good weekend.
Oh, that's great. I mean, we would jump straight into it without taking much of your time. So I want to take you back a little bit. Let's go back to your college days.
Yeah, man, that was a long time ago.
When you think about your college days right now, what comes in mind?
I think my friends, right? I'm spending time with friends, getting to know people, being mentored by teachers, my professors. Yeah. And then I met my wife in college. So that was great. And, played a lot of sports in college. Okay. So yeah, all those things. Okay. So yeah, I played lacrosse in college. Yeah.
Oh, it's like everybody, you
I did. And I played soccer, or as you would say, football growing up. And I went to college and thought maybe I would play there. And so, I got all the information that summer from the coach, and I was like, this is a lot of work. I don't know if I want to do this. Yeah. And then when I got to college, I met a bunch of other guys that also played lacrosse in high school. And our school didn't have a lacrosse team. So a bunch of my friends and we started it as a club team. And then many years later, I came back and I helped coach when we were NCAA Division III. So I was a coach there and just loved that experience. Yeah. So yeah, it was good stuff. I had really good mentors in college. I had a couple professors that really helped me think through what I wanted to do with my life. I was a history education major. I thought I was going to coach sports at a high school and be a history teacher at a high school. And then I met mentors in college, and he was challenging me to think through, are you sure this is what you want to do? What are your other options? And so he kind of showed me what is it like to work in higher education, in student life and student programming. And so through that relationship, it kind of opened my eyes to working at a college and university as an administrator. So those experiences really helped me think through my first couple roles and my first couple jobs. I think it was just amazing I can still text him and call him today. I send him emails from time to time and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or how would you process this? He was one of the guests that came at my inauguration in the fall. So yeah, there's people like that. And then, I had a great opportunity to go to graduate school right after undergraduate school. And then I got hired back at my alma mater. And so I kind of grew up there, both as a student and then as a young professional.
Yeah. So what was your first leadership role, and comparing that to now?
Oh my gosh, you're taking me back. So I was a residence hall director, and it's funny because when you're a residence hall director, you have a group of RAs that you work with, and that was like my first experience in building a team and supporting those individuals and helping them to make decisions. I used those same skills when I was leading in student government as the advisor for that, planning activities, big concerts, big events, coaching a team, same idea. And then I kind of moved into different administrative roles. But the things I learned pretty early on as a residence hall director of supporting people, helping them be the best they can be, finding the right spot for them on the team and encouraging them. Those are the same things I think I'm doing now as a president. The context just changes, right? So instead of helping a 20-year-old, I'm now helping mid and upper career professionals, but it's kind of the same skill set. Yeah.
So let's focus on leadership role.
Yeah.
You being the administrator at the college, and now you are at the head of the school right now.
Yes.
So what would you say is a successful student experience in your opinion?
What's a successful student experience? Man, I think we always talk about the balance of challenge and support. So you need I know you're a student athlete, right? I'm sad you don't have any more eligibility. That's a story for another day. I think, whether you're an international student or you're from the US, whether you're an athlete, whether you're an artist, whether you're a high scholar or a struggling academic student, students need a balance of challenge and support. In athletics, as the head coach, usually I was the challenger. I want more out of you. Come on, you can produce at a higher level, or here's my expectations for you, and set the bar high. I always found that I had assistant coaches that they were the supporters. So they balance that out. So I think everybody needs a balance of people in their life to both challenge and support them. So that's easy to sometimes think about in athletics, but let's take it into another area, maybe in the arts. So we have a really strong digital media arts program here. Any kind of performing arts, any type of visual arts, you're always being critiqued. You have to be open to critique. But if all you're ever getting is, you have to improve, you have to improve, you have to improve, you also need a supporting community to affirm who you are. So there's that balance. I think the same thing is true in any academic environment. If you're writing a paper and all you're ever doing is getting told you're not clear in your communication, or you need to improve this, there has to be the flip side of affirming who you are. So I think students all need that, whether they're undergraduate students, graduate students, traditional age, adults, just that balance of challenge and support. So how can I say, hey, you can do better, but also affirm what you've done? I mean, think about your time on the pitch, right? If all you ever is like, you're turning the ball over, or you're holding it too long, or I need you to play two touch, or whatever it is. And you're always looking at the sideline wondering, have I done what my coach wants me to do? But at halftime, you also need somebody to come alongside of you and say, hey, great job. When you did this, this was the right decision, right? So it's that balance. So I think for students, they're looking for that, and they need that.
Yeah.
For sure.
If you had to go back into your college experience, what would you have done differently?
Man, I think my college experience as a college student, I think I had a good experience where I had a balance of challenge and support. I think it was my junior year, and you've seen my wife. I don't know if you've met her, but it was between my sophomore and junior year when we started dating seriously. I mean, that's when I started making better choices about spending time and actually doing my work and going hard at work. There was a moment in school where I realized school is my full-time job right now. So I need to approach school like work. I don't know, somewhere between my sophomore and junior year, I just was like, I'm paying to be here. People are sacrificing for me to be here. My family's paying to be here. I need to take school seriously. Am I giving 100%? And so I've kind of realized okay, I need to turn this up. I need to, as you would say, I need to lock in, right? I need to get locked in. So I think there's this moment where some of that's maturity, some of it's thinking, what am I doing here if I'm not taking this seriously? And so maybe go back my first year if I would have studied differently or thought about it differently. But I think people realize that at different points in their maturity. If I would go back, maybe I would approach academics differently as a first and second year. I did fine. I just don't think I applied myself at the level I could have. And then I realized, okay, there's not necessarily, I only have 2 years left. Let me take this up a notch. Let me lock it in. Let me go a little harder. Let me get serious about it. So then I started looking at, well, how am I spending my time? So if I'm working a job and it's 40 hours a week, am I really am I 40 hours a week? How seriously am I doing this? So then I also feel like I started realizing what I'm doing now is setting up my kind of pattern for life for the rest of my life. So yeah.
Picking from what you said, in grad school, everybody think at this point you should figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
You should know, but some of us still don't know. Right. Some are still in undergrad and they still don't know. They are still at a point where they want to change their major.
Yeah.
They don't like what they're doing now, and they don't know what they want to do. They don't know the next major they want to jump in. Students like that, what advice would you have for us?
For graduate students?
And even undergrads?
Well, I think there's a lot of fear right now for students and anxiety because there's so many choices.
Yeah.
that people are afraid they're going to make the wrong choice. I think that you could study a lot of different things and still have success in life. There's certain majors and certain career paths, like we'll use nursing or education as an example. If you want to be a nurse, you need to go to nursing school. If you want to be a teacher, you have to go to a teacher education program. But there's many other career options that aren't linked to one major. So I think that learning how to think, learning critical thinking skills, learning how to work well with other people, learning, how to communicate well, learning how to respond to failure, learning how to come back from a hard day or whatever. Those pieces are like critical for the rest of your life. Maybe it doesn't, I know this is controversial. Maybe it doesn't matter what your major is.
Some people, I know a lot of people are gonna argue with you on this.
Well, if you know I want to do this, I need to have these specific things to do this job.
Yeah.
Sure, that matters. But part of education and growing is just learning those lifelong skills, learning those lifelong things that can apply to multiple areas. That makes sense to me. So if you're studying your MBA, you don't need to necessarily know, I want to be in marketing, or I want to be in sales, or I want to be in finance. But if you know you want to be in finance, then maybe there's certain courses and certain experiences in your MBA that you want to get into. But there are a lot of people who maybe by the time they're 30, they're doing something completely different than what they originally thought they were going to do. I mean, I told you I was a history education major, and I went and got a master's in counseling, and I did work with college students. And I was involved in kind of that area. And now I'm running a university. So that became clear over time. I sharpened my skill set, but I still go back to those things I learned in undergrad and graduate school. I think we call those like transferable skills.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that would be the right word for it.
Yes.
So I had a dinner with a teammate.
Yeah.
And his brother. And he was telling me, he's an arts major too. And he said, everything that he's doing right now, he already learned it from YouTube. And sometimes he questioned why is he here, right? Yeah. And I was kind of telling him, maybe now you have to see it like a kind of discipline, because now you have to turn in some work in at a certain time. You have to do some things that out of your comfort zone. Yeah. Maybe that was my advice for him at that time. You were in the spot where you were having this conversation with this student. What would you have done different, or would you have done the same thing?
Well, you can learn certain things from YouTube, but you can't do this with YouTube.
Yeah.
So my question would be, what are you learning from your professors? Who are your mentors? Are you reflecting from experiences you have? So if you have an internship, if you have a placement, if you're working on a project with a group, with a team, those pieces you can't do in isolation from watching YouTube. So, if I want to fix my car, I can go on YouTube and learn about it. I'd rather take my car to somebody who's a certified mechanic who has gone through this years of apprenticeship and knows how to fix it, as opposed to me just kind of figuring it out as I go. You can learn a ton from YouTube, but you can't learn this relationship. In sports, we sometimes talk about iron sharpening iron.
Yeah, for sure.
You're learning from another person. Yeah. So what are you learning from group projects? What are you learning from your faculty member? How are they pushing you? How are they encouraging you? Those pieces are unique and different, whether you're graduate school or undergraduate school. Yeah.
I mean, I think...
I don't know. What do you think of that?
I think it's a good answer though. And I think there's something not only him can take out of it. I think this can relate to all of us, even if you know what you're doing here. Yeah. I think as you said, this connection and you get to meet professors, mentors who can actually build a kind of network. Yeah. Which you're actually going to need in the near future.
I mean, how many years have you been in the U.S. for? Do you recall?
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years.
5, I think. 5, yeah.
So where were you right before you came to the U.S.?
I was in Ghana.
In Ghana.
Yeah.
So in Ghana, you could get on YouTube, you can get on Google, you can talk to people that have been to the U.S. You might have family members, cousins, uncles, aunts, whatever, and you could read about all of it. Sure, yeah. But there's a difference between actually coming here and doing it, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I mean, you could be like, well, I thought this is what it was like in the US and yours is perfect. Like, if I'm going to go to Ghana, you would say Dr. Pepper, here's what you need to do. I've been there. I've lived there. Go see this person, whatever. I could read about it. I can watch YouTube. I could watch documentaries. But until I get off the plane and go hang out where you grew up, I can't really experience it. So a piece of it too is and then how much more powerful would it be if you came with me?
Yeah.
Or I said, hey, I went there and this is what I experienced, and you asked me questions and I learned from your experience and you helped me process that.
Yeah.
That's the piece of education, the human touch, the human relationships that, college becomes like an incubator for that to happen. And you learn through that experience and processing life with people. I think that's the power of college that we sometimes, it's a little messy too, right? Because you learn from mistakes and you get the good and the bad and you're learning from it all.
Yeah, I think we kind of underestimate that power there. Yeah. So you're talking about Ghana right now. I think it's time we jump into international students.
All right, let's go. Come on.
Yeah. So I've one thing I noticed is this year you invited international students to your house for lunch. I think it was lunch or dinner. I couldn't make it. I volunteer soccer coaching in the weekend, so I couldn't make it.
Yeah, it was dinner. Yeah.
Yeah. And I got to know, I found out you were able to raise some funds to get international students Bible in their languages, which is, I want to say thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That's really nice. So talking about international students right now.
Yeah.
What has the experience been with international students here so far?
Yeah, I mean, my experience with international students started in Pennsylvania, where we were living before, and we had a large group of international students on campus. And so I got to know them individually and then also helped create some systems and structures to support them through new student orientation, through the International Student Association, and through some orientation programs. We would support them and get to know them individually. So always had a heart for international students. And just when we came to Huntington, we realized that this was an area that was growing and that we got to spend some time with individual students. One of the things that's been most challenging right now, it's not meant to be controversial. It's just a statement of fact. The changes with the federal government in the U.S. From Washington, D.C. and the policies have made it even more challenging for students, right? So the protocol for their F1 visa, potential changes to OPT, how we navigate that, and then economics of what's the exchange rate, of where you're from. And I mean, it's just really challenging. And I think my wife and I have a burden for making sure every student feels like their college campus can be their home. And that's for everybody. And so we've really enjoyed getting to hear students' stories and getting to find ways to support them and help them feel like this could be their home. And I think there's benefit to not just those students, but all the other students here to learn about other places in the world and learn from each other's experiences. So as much as we want to be welcoming to people to come to Huntington University for their sake, it also selfishly, they bring a lot to our community that we can learn from their experiences as well.
So my next question will be, what are the kind of challenges that have come to you or like international students has presented to you?
Oh, there's a lot of challenges. Some are consistent with challenges from students who grew up in the U.S. Some are unique. And I also want to be clear, maybe this is something you've experienced. Not all international students are the same.
No,
So
different backgrounds.
Yeah. And that's no different than, you can't say, what are the challenges from students from Fort Wayne? I mean, every student from Fort Wayne or from Chicago or from Ohio, like they're different, right? So your experience is different than someone from Southeast Asia, different than someone from Colombia or Argentina, right? But we just lump them all like international students. And if we had 5 other students from Ghana here, they're not all the same either, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, everyone's different. So as a whole, I think some of the challenges that we see is like Huntington is a city, but it's a small town. And so many students come here, they're used to public transportation. We don't have that here. So it's hard. So even like getting from here to the store, it's easy because you can walk or ride a bike. It's right across the highway. But if you want to go somewhere else to get certain things that you're used to or you want to experience something different, Fort Wayne is close, but how do I get there? So I think they can help each other with rides, just like other students can. I think that's a challenge. Jobs, right? So how do I have a job? Can I work here? So on-campus work is helpful. Summer internships, students are trying to find summer internships. Can I go home and come back? It's expensive to go home, but even for those who can afford it, they're concerned about their visa. So if I go home, can I get back in the States? That's challenging.
That's challenging. That's been my biggest problem.
Like if you saved up enough money to get a flight home, you're also thinking like, well, when I want to leave, am I going to be able to get back? And with it, because of some of those changes in DC and how that gets filtered out. So some students are like, well, I can afford to go home. I'm just nervous too. Those are some pieces I think that are hard, and missing family. I mean, we've talked to some students and they've come here with their visa and then they've stayed on campus. They've worked here. They're trying to save money, cost of living. They live on campus. They work on campus because they're allowed to do that, but they haven't seen their family in 36 or 48 months. And we have international students who are here for athletics and other for performing arts and other things. And so their families can't watch them compete or watch them perform. And that breaks our heart. So it's like our 3 kids did different things in college and we got to go support them. And I oftentimes think, how hard would that be to send your child halfway across the world and then you can't even like be there in person to encourage them? So I think there's homesickness, and then there's homesickness that just hits differently because different language, you never see your family. I just want a home cooked meal that's like my food, right? And like all of the things, and you're just in a completely different environment. So I think those are unique challenges.
Like with you talking about the games and all that, not being able to go to the game, I think that's something I can actually relate. So I trying to, how I was dealing with that is like I trying to send the game links to my family.
Or do you use WhatsApp to communicate with them? So do you have certain family members that want to ask you like, how did the match go? How did you play? Uncle is.
He's on me every game. Like he criticizes everything I do on the field. Like so, like I try to send the link to him every game, but he will wish he was here to watch the games. But like the international student office, I think they are doing amazing. They kind of come to our games, holding up our flags and singing. So I'll say thank you to them too. They kind of let us feel a little bit at home. But still talking about the challenges of students. One challenge came to me, and I the field too. So like
one of your teammates,
one of my team.
Okay.
The challenge, his biggest challenge he was finding out here was the clash of the religions. So he come from a whole different religious background, and here is a Christian school which is really centered on Christ. And he was having this challenge of going to church every 2 days every week, and
at the chapel.
At the chapel, And I seen guys who go to the church who were not Christians that when they got here, faith grew. And he couldn't find that balance, or he couldn't open up to the new what Christianity had for him, and he had to leave. I don't know if you have faced any of these challenges, but I was at that spot. I'm a Christian. I didn't know what to do at that time, and he has already made the transfer. In this situation, what would you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say that's not necessarily unique to international students. So for those watching, I don't know if they know much about Huntington University, but we're a Christian university, but you don't necessarily have to, well, not necessarily, you don't have to sign a statement of faith to come here. So some other Christian universities on the front end, they would say, okay, give us your transcripts. Let me see your test scores, apply. And then they ask you, are you a Christian? You check a box, or you have a statement of faith that say, yes, I'm a Christian. This is why. And that's part of the admissions decision. At Huntington, we don't do that. And we've never done that. So we do have students who would say, I don't have any religion, or I'm Christian, but then under Christianity, there's a lot of diversity. So we have Protestant believers, we have Pentecostal, we have Roman Catholic, we have Lutheran, obviously United Brethren, Baptist, everything. And then we have other students who would be from other world religions. So it sounds like your friend would identify with either no religion or a different world religion, right? So, I mean, I think if students know on the front end, this is a Christian university, they have to be comfortable with what that is. Some will just learn from that and experience it, and maybe they'll understand who Christ is and their life will be transformed, and others no. But I think that's what makes Huntington unique. I think we try to be as embracing as we can and inviting for all students, but for some, maybe this is just not a good fit.
Yeah, and the students that get here and go into their faith, how does that make you feel?
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's so encouraging. I mean, you've probably seen it the last couple months here. We've had a number of students who have said, I kind of didn't know who Jesus was, and now I do, and I'm going to change my life. I'm going to follow him. And can I read the Bible? What does that look like? Can I learn more about who Jesus is and make changes in your life because of that? We've had a number of students who have made public statements of faith. They've been baptized even in the lake, which is freezing cold.
Yeah.
That's encouraging to me, but in some ways that's just the start of their life that's being transformed. And so they can be in community here, whether it's their residence, the Sojourner program, whether it's their coach, their captains of their teams, FCA, whatever it is, that's really encouraging. And, for your friend, I would say still be a friend to your friend.
Yeah.
Reach out to him where he's playing, encourage him, continue to share life. I mean, just because at this point in his life, he's saying, this isn't for me, it doesn't mean that that's the end of his story. You have an opportunity to influence him just by being his friend and continuing to show the love of Christ.
Yeah. I think I try to keep him in contact and like see me questions, and that I think that was the first time I felt like I was mentoring a teammate. So like made me put myself in checking some things and I have to do in front of people and all that. So it wasn't only about him learning from me. I think I was also learning about me and also making sure of my steps I take in front of people. So I think we both learn from each other.
Yeah, because I think if you say like, I'm a Christian, I'm following Jesus, and you're in a relationship with that person and they don't know who Christ is, they're looking to you to figure out, well, how do Christians act? Right. And if they like what they see, then they're inclined to learn more. But if they're turned off by that, they're saying, nah, I'm not interested in that. Right.
So let's in the beginning of the conversation, you mentioned graduation.
Yeah.
I know graduation is just in the corner.
Yeah, man.
People are about to graduate. What kind of students do you, if you have to picture the kind of graduates you're trying to produce?
Oh,
what kind
man,
of student
that's a great question. Wow. I think we want people who are interested in the common good of how to help society and culture across the board. So love of God and love of neighbor, those are the two greatest commandments. When Jesus is asked, like, what are the greatest commandments? He talks about, loving the Lord God, but also loving your neighbor. And so how does that play itself out? I want our graduates to be really competent in what they studied. So I want them to be the best in what they studied, but also to do that out of a sense of who God is and also out of a sense of helping other people and have that compassion and that heart for other people to transform culture and society. I want people to be known for what they're for, not to be what they're against. I want students who are critical thinkers, but aren't just critical. I mean, we have so much polarization in culture right now where it's like, you're either this or this. And there's just so much like arguing and animosity. Like, where can we agree and how do we start with that? And how can we then lift up people in the area that we have influence over? If we can get there, then Huntington sticks out even more as a unique place because we're doing something very different. I would be excited for that. Yeah.
That's nice. That will lead me to my next question.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So
I must sit back.
After school, the biggest thing is, for me, I feel like
the
biggest thing is finding a job.
Yeah.
How do you think the school is preparing graduates for after the school, like the workforce, how to even get there?
Well, I think some of it is on the individual student. So those conversations with your academic advisors, your professors looking for jobs, looking for internships, and then connecting you to our alumni network. So you're in your MBA program, right? So what was your undergrad degree?
Sports management.
Yeah. And so now you're doing an MBA. So are you hoping to get into the sport industry? Or are you thinking coaching, or you're not? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm previously it was all about soccer coaching, but I'm glad I took this MBA program here. And now I fell in love with the leadership and coaching, and like now I feel like I want to pursue the life coach, which is something I really have fun in love with, and I've started doing it.
So I think for students, that's the story that I would have for them is, connecting to their faculty, connecting to their advisors, finding out ways that, they can use that network to look for the first job. My encouragement to students is just go get your first job and then start to learn and build on that. And that first job isn't the job you're going to have for the rest of your life. So take some pressure off yourself. Go get the first job, then we can build from there. I think for international students, the pressure is different.
Yeah.
Because of OPT, do you have working papers in the US? Do you want to go back to your home community? Can you find a sponsor here? you know, those are different challenges. And I think for many students, a lot of students have challenges, but that just gets ramped up to a different level. So I would say, you know, within the sports world, there's always contacts and networks. So being active on LinkedIn, joining professional associations, going to local meetings where there's like-minded people and starting to expand kind of those networks, that's really important.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that
Yeah.
information. I think that not even only internationals need that.
Yeah.
Everybody, every student will be glad to have such a free advice. So
free advice is only good as what you pay for it, right? So I don't know how good it is because
I
it's
think
free.
this is actually good. I mean, people pay for the same information. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Like as I said in the beginning, not every student go through the whole college journey with hearing from the like the person that actually make the decisions that shape our lives. So like coming from you, that I don't have to go to anywhere else to hear that. So I'm really glad you shared that.
Well, thank you.
I want to bring, let's get out of the serious stuff.
Okay, out of the serious stuff. No more serious stuff. All right.
I think you are the most popular person on HU Crush.
Come on.
You have the most appearance. Do you know about it?
What is it called?
HU Crush. It's like
HU Crush. I've never gone to it.
Is this
is it Instagram? What is it?
This Instagram thing I follow, and it's like about the students talking about the crush on campus, and I think you have the most appearances.
Maybe you should tell my wife that. That would be
I don't know how she's gonna take it, but I'm just a messenger. Talking about international students, you mentioned diversity and all that. You've had a chance to invite international students to your house, being able to spend some time with them and all that. What influence would you say they've had on you right now?
Oh man, I think whenever you have an opportunity for students to tell their story, some of them are really hard to hear. I mean, they are. And I don't want to make light of that. I mean, there's sacrifice, right? I mean, there's sacrifice for every student to go to college, but I think for many internationals, they also carry the weight of their whole community, their whole church, extended family. They feel that pressure of I'm the one who got to go to the US. Uncles, aunts, grandparents, they put a lot of pressure on everyone, right? But particularly it just feels different for international students. And so when students tell me their story of like their sacrifice of this is the hard work, you know, maybe it's not the end goal. Like you have big dreams and goals, but the first big dream and goal was like, let me get to the US and play soccer. And hopefully that can help pay for my education. Like at some point you had an agent, you got connected. And when you got the email, you got the text message and you're like, I get to go to the US. And that's like a big celebration, right? But that carries a lot of weight. And so when students tell me those stories, whether they're athletes or where they're here for straight academics or anything in between, it's hard to hear at times because of that weightiness, but also we can celebrate with them when they achieve their goals. I mean, that's just like amazing, right? Because we get to hear stories. And so like, why do I want to be the president of a university? So I can hear about lives changed. And here we get to do it in the name of Christ. So there's lives changed right now, but also like eternal impact and generational impact. So when an international student has a chance to come to the US and study at Huntington, they open up opportunities for generations from their family. And as much as we have challenges in the US, and as much as I don't agree with everything that's happening here politically and socioeconomically, et cetera, a US degree opens up doors around the world. And I don't think we always know in the US the significance of that. So when we talk to international students from all over the world, and some come from a lot of means and some come from struggling families and everything in between, when they have a chance to come to the US and go to university, they're like, it's changing their life. And so I want to support them and give them the best experience they can have. And I can't do that unless I know their story. So yeah, I mean, sitting with students and saying, tell me about your family. Tell me about your hometown. Why are you here? How did you get here? What are your hopes and dreams? How can we best support you? I want to do that for all students, but there's this unique piece for the international student experience. Yeah. And it's just a joy to be able to share life and talk about what that looks like. Yeah.
I'm getting to the point, and I'm getting to the end of this session.
Yeah.
But before I ask for your advice, this is this is the end. This the end of your first year as president of Huntington University.
A couple more weeks, it'll be 1 year, right? June 1 of 2025 was my first official day, so we're almost at 1 year.
Almost at 1 year.
Yeah.
What has the experience been?
It's been good. I mean, we didn't know anything about the Midwest. We didn't know much about Huntington. I'm originally from New Jersey, suburbs of New York City, maybe an hour to Manhattan from where I grew up by train or a long car ride, and then lived in Pennsylvania for over 30 years. There's some similarities to here and central Pennsylvania. This is much more rural, a lot more farmland, but people are so gracious and kind here. We've been very well received, both on campus and larger community. We've got great alumni. I have a wonderful board of trustees. We've got great faculty here. Students are great. Yeah, it's been good. It's been a good, and I've been to Arizona a couple times. We have a campus in Arizona, so we've been there a couple times, and that's been great. I get to go back to their graduation here in a couple weeks. I'm looking forward to that as well. It's been good.
Yeah. So if you're supposed to picture a perfect in the next, let's say in the next 5 years,
Yeah.
if you're supposed to picture a perfect Huntington in your view,
Oh gosh.
how would that look like?
I mean, we're building on the shoulders of giants, so I think we keep doing what we're doing. My goal is to grow the undergraduate population here, which is a pretty lofty goal. Like right now, colleges are struggling for enrollment in some pockets of the U.S., and we have a lot of momentum on some of our academic programs. I want to continue to see that grow. I would love for more international students to come to Huntington, but also to graduate from Huntington. So come and stay for 4 years, or maybe they transfer in from a junior college or somewhere else. We're looking at ways to grow our graduate enrollment. So some universities do like 3 years in undergraduate, 2 years in graduate, or 4 years in business, plus 1 to get your MBA. So we're looking at those types of programs. I think those would be great opportunities for all students. Yeah. And I just think my goal would be, if we accept you to come here, we're going to do everything possible to help you have a good experience. You still have to do your work. You still have to grind. You have to get up every day. You got to do your projects. But if it's on me, I want students to be successful and graduate from here. So that's my goal. And so increasing the number of students, and then increasing the number of students who actually graduate, who start here. Yeah.
I mean, that didn't let you go without giving us any advice, you know? You've been through this whole ranks from the resident administration, where you get to hear the complaints from students directly. Now you are at the top of it all, where now you got you might need professors. Now still you get to hear. This all connects to creating the harmonious environment for students.
Yeah.
Now we are the ones below in the student environment.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for us to be successful in this journey?
I think it's really, for me, a lot of it's relationships. So, stepping out of your comfort zone, you're obviously doing that. You're here in this community, so you don't have a choice. But for other students, I would say step out of a comfort zone, get to know different students, step out of a comfort zone, try a different course, try a minor, take an elective in something you never thought you would like to study. Step out of a comfort zone, ask a faculty member to lunch, go to coffee with somebody that's in a different group of campus, right? So you hang out with international students, with graduate students, with athletes. So, my advice to you would be go to the dining commons or go to the hub with a group of students that you don't even know at all, and just like ask questions and get to know people differently. College is this wonderful environment where you get to be with people of your own age, and everyone's asking good questions and thinking about things differently. You'll never have this opportunity again. I mean, you're just all together, where we live on campus now in a wonderful house, but where we lived before, like we kind of knew 2 of our neighbors, but you didn't ever knock on the door and be like, hey, you want to have a meal together? Like you don't do that in the US. Very typically, but at college, you're in a dorm, you're walking down the hallway. Hey, you want to go grab coffee? You want to go to Culver's? You want to go get some tacos on Taco Tuesday night or whatever, right? Like, you want to just go kick a soccer ball. Let's go for a run, or, you have an opportunity to get to know people. And that's wonderful. And I think sometimes we're so driven for grades and activities and projects. It's like, let's just chill out and like have a conversation. And with faculty too. I mean, you're surrounded by brilliant people who are here and they want to support you. take advantage of them.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me today.
This was fun.
I really enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
This kind of educative, and also have fun with it. And like, it's good to know experience with international students, and also getting to know your college experience a little bit. I really appreciate you joining.
Thank you.
Yeah, all guys. Right. Anyway, you see Dr. Robert Pepper, I want you to extend a thank you to him, and I'm really glad you guys have stayed with me through all these minutes. And thank you guys. Keep on subscribing and sharing this. Let's keep on building a community where we can still talk about the life of international students. Let's have fun with it. Let's educate each other and let's motivate each other in this journey. We are never alone. We have people who are always willing to support us through this journey. Let us get the best out of it. Until the next episode, see you guys. Bye.